I'm honored to have with me to start the new year, Professor Robert Reich, Chancellor's Professor of Public Policy at UC Berkeley, former U.S. Secretary of Labor, and might I add, one of the finest cabinet officers in my lifetime in any administration, and the author of the latest book, the author of his latest book, Aftershock, The New Economy and America's Future, which is now out in paperback. You can read his writings in his blog and commentary over at Robert Reich, reich.org. Robert Reich, welcome back to the program.
Well, good morning, John. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, and very nice to have you with us.
2012, by the way, is going to be a better one than 2011.
Yeah, if the Mayans are wrong.
I hope that they're wrong. They haven't been always right.
You're right. They're not around anymore.
Yeah, well, there's...
back when Hillary Clinton was first selected as Secretary of State, and decided to jump into that position on this program. And numerous times over the years, I've commented that she and Joe Biden should swap places. And I've been making this kind of running joke with every Republican I get on the show for the last 6 months or so. Who's going to be the guy who's going to be Marco Rubio's running mate? And you codified these into this brilliant column on yesterday. New Year's predictions, and I thought, my God, great minds think alike.
Tom, if you and I both feel the same way about the future, it's bound to happen. And
would it be so?
Political predictions, like economic forecasts and weather forecasts, are almost bound to be wrong. Yep. I think astrology is more accurate than any of them. But I do think that there's something to the idea of Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden swapping places. It makes sense for Obama in terms of galvanizing the Democratic base, getting them more excited. I mean, so many people are kind of disenchanted, to put it mildly, with the Obama administration because of his cave-ins to the Republicans and very centrist, if not right-of-center approaches. Now, Hillary Clinton may not be that much better in terms of, a kind of left-of-center or progressive voice, but nevertheless, her presence on the ticket would generate some excitement. She is the most admired woman in America. She has the experience. Obviously, she has I think a fairly good record, although obviously we can pick faults with it as Secretary of State. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, and I think there's the pugnacious factor, and I realize that's not a word that's usually applied to women in a flattering way, but I mean it that way. I mean it, as a positive. We've seen, and I think that on the Republican side, in fact, one of the things that we've seen, and I don't think this is unique to Republicans, I think this is an American quality, and maybe just human nature, that people want a fighter in their leaders. And Hillary Clinton is somebody who knows how to take names and kick ass, and has done that, and is known, as somebody who will fight. And Barack Obama has, up until recently, been seen more as a compromiser and okay, let's find a middle road and let's shake hands and be nice to each other. And I think that he needs that, on his ticket. And Joe Biden's, good at speaking out, but he hasn't been the fighter, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's a matter of both temperament and approach. I think Obama is such a conciliator, and even stylistically, I mean, you listen to speeches that are supposed to be very fiery speeches. I mean, if you read that speech from 3 weeks ago that he gave in Kansas, the most populist progressive speech I think he's given of his entire presidency, it reads better than he actually delivered it. He delivered it in his very, typical mild-mannered fashion. Yeah. Now, again, I think you're absolutely right. Hillary will add that kind of element of fire to the ticket.
Yeah. And now I've actually raised this on this program and also on our TV show over the last year, probably a half a dozen times with various Republican or Democratic consultants, rather. Do you think that this is possible? Including one person who was inside the administration who was very offended by that, but
Joe Biden?
It wasn't a Biden. The idea of Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden swapping places, and to a person, their response to me has been, well, Hillary has made it very clear that she's kind of at the end of her political career, that she loves being Secretary of State, but when she's done with that, she fully intends to retire and do the kind of good work that her husband is doing or that Jimmy Carter is doing, that sort of thing, or maybe even just retire quietly as George W. Bush has done. What do you think about that?
Well, it's possible. Look, everybody's different, and that's certainly possible. But if the party and the president and a lot of Americans put pressure on her, she may very well change her mind. She's only 64 years old. Now, I can say, as somebody who's 65 years old, that 64 is not old.
Yeah.
64 is actually relatively young, and she has a lot of vitality, as she's shown. I've known her since she was 20 years old.
Wow.
I can tell you, she's got she is a fighter. She has a lot of spirit. She is not as much, I don't think she's not as much of a progressive, Tom, as I think you would characterize yourself, or I would like to characterize myself. But she, I think, would add significantly to the ticket, and I think she'd take it. That's my judgment. I have no inside information at all.
Let's, if we could shift gears for just a moment, and maybe get to your book, Aftershock, the next economy in America's future, in the 2 minutes or so we have left here. What are your thoughts about where the economy is at right now and the blowback to the economy and to the failure to radically change things in the first few years of the Obama administration? That blowback's most visible symptom, I think, right now being Occupy Wall Street and arguably the Tea Party.
Well, first of all, there are two separate economies. There is the economy of the top 1%. I mean, the corporate economy, the Wall Street economy, the economy reported on by the Wall Street Journal. That economy is in fairly good shape. I mean, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up for the year. Corporate profits are huge. American corporations are sitting on more than $1 trillion of cash. They're quite happy. Globalization has helped them, and they are doing well around the globe. But the average American is not doing well. Median wages are down, lower than they were. Unemployment is still stuck very, very high. The reason the unemployment report was slightly better than expected last time around was because so many people exited from the workforce. So many people too discouraged even to look for work. I wish Obama had done more. I mean, I and others advocated for a bigger stimulus package, and I wish at every turn he had fought Republicans harder. But what I get back from the administration, and it's not altogether wrong, is that the Republicans have never been as united and also as determined to block a president as they have been under Obama, and he did the best he could. That's not going to, in the election, doing the best you can and still having unemployment up there at almost 9% or 8.6% is not going to win you a lot of votes. But if the direction of the economy come election day is good, if things look like they're getting better, then he is going to be in much better position. Yeah,
so we'll see how this all plays out. Robert Reich, robertreich.org, and his new book, Aftershock, The Next Economy and America's Future. Robert Reich, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Tom.